Hi, I'm Al Neff, the host and producer of the Into the Music series created by Highway 61 Productions. The show has been in development now for over 10 years, and in that time, we've been able to complete well over 200 hours of programming based on the concept that all music connects, like the highway system we use as our metaphor. The main genres of music, like blues and country and rock, are sort of like the interstates, which are connected and paralleled by state highways, and then it goes down to the county roads. The point is that all music is related and connected, and eventually you can find your way back or ahead to wherever you want to go, as long as you have a good map. That's what Into the Music is designed to be for the interested listener, whether the feature is on Muddy Waters or Pearl Jam, Patsy Cline or Jimi Hendrix, Bob Dylan or Motown Records. It's all good if you know how to listen in the frame of where it came from and what it led to. I actually have a master's degree in popular culture studies, but really Into the Music comes from a lifelong love of music and a fascination with the technology and social trends and even the twists of fate that led the way to why that music happened in a certain space and time. It's one of the greatest stories to be told, and each episode of the series is a single, self-contained chapter to a great book, a component part of a larger picture. So we hope you'll enjoy the sampler we prepared and that you'll find a way to tune in to one of the public or commercial stations in our network. And thanks for helping us to keep the beat.
Let's get into the music of Dire Straits now with a track that introduced their subtle blues-based sound in late 1978, a song that's still a standard on classic rock radio, telling a story that echoes the experience of anyone who's ever been in a band struggling to stay alive on a commitment to the music. Dire Straits singer, songwriter, and lead guitarist Mark Knopfler formed the band in late 1976, along with his brother David on rhythm guitar, bassist John Illsley, and drummer Pick Withers. The band was repeatedly turned down by every recording company they approached, but they finally scraped together enough money to self-finance a 5-song demo recording. They were able to gift that to BBC radio host Charlie Gillette, who played the demo of their song Sultans of Swing on his show Honky Tonkin', maybe due in part to the honky tonk lyric in the song. It was then heard on the radio by a talent scout for the Vertigo record label, and Dire Straits was signed in late 1977. The band's main creative force was on lead guitar and vocals, his brother backing on rhythm guitar. If you're a classic rock fan, you've heard this one many times, but give it a fresh ear and appreciate the exquisite mix of sounds and Mark Knopfler's speed and finesse on guitar. Sultans of Swing gets us into the music of Dire Straits.
You get a shiver in the dark, it's raining in the park, but meantime
Based on a true story, Sultans of Swing, a top 10 single in the US and the UK, which led the way for a masterpiece debut from Dire Straits in late 1978. Punk was the dominant sound of the late 70s and the band's home base of London, the epicenter of punk. In defiant contrast, Dire Straits' music was roots-based, much of it distinctly blues and country flavored. When they recorded that first album, the Sex Pistols had just released Anarchy in the UK, and Dire Straits' sound had a very uphill battle to be heard in their home country before that song hit. Mark Knopfler came from Glasgow, Scotland, but when he and his brother David were children, their father, an architect, moved the family to Newcastle in Northumberland, that's northeastern England. These were hard, cold, industrial, working-class cities in post-war decline, but Knopfler made his way to college to study English literature, and that background in literature is the key to the depth of his lyrics, something not always recognized by many casual fans. Knopfler was also a master player from the beginning, bringing an array of string sounds, beautifully played, and influenced especially by J.J. Cale and Chet Atkins, usually played on the Fender Stratocaster, but in this case, a dobro. Listen for that sound layered on top of the great rhythm here by drummer Pick Withers, one of the key subliminal elements to the Dire Straits sound. The song is titled Water of Love, and we're getting into the music. Those country-flavored sounds courtesy of Dire Straits guitarist Mark Knopfler, Water of Love from the self-named 1978 Dire Straits debut. On the strength of Sultans of Swing, Dire Straits became a success on both sides of the Atlantic, plus Australia and New Zealand. Sultans of Swing hit #1 in some European countries, and radio-friendly tracks like Set Me Up, Southbound Again, and Down by the Waterline also received airplay. That first Dire Straits album stands alone in their catalog in its spare instrumentation and basic production style. At the time, they were a tight 4-piece band honed by constant playing on the English pub circuit. The album was recorded in a matter of days for a cost of under $25,000, but it's still thought by some fans to be the best in their library. The nuance of the instrumentation, combined with Mark Knopfler's Dylan-flavored lyrics and vocal style, created a quiet drama in their songs that Knopfler later took to his work in the film industry. This off-track from the debut release is a classic example of Mark Knopfler's alternating sharp sting and delicate touch on his Stratocaster and his rough, dark vocals. The song is titled Six-Blade Knife. We're into the music of Dire Straits.
Your six-blade knife. Come on.
An obscure track from Dire Straits' most obscure album, Communique. That's called Where Do You Think You're Going? Even though this album was overshadowed by Dire Straits' work before and after, it's now critically regarded as a hidden gem, on par with all of Dire Straits' classic work, and it did go to #1 in Sweden, Germany, and New Zealand. It's now been remastered for an enhancement of the already impressive production quality, and other recommended tracks include Single-Handed Sailor and Follow Me Home. After Communique, rhythm guitarist David Knopfler left the band for a solo career, the first in a series of personnel changes in Dire Straits that would set the tone for the rest of the band's history. From this point forward, they increasingly became a collection of musicians surrounding the musical vision of Mark Knopfler, who wrote and sang and played the lead instrument on every single Dire Straits song recorded. They followed with the expansion of the group's instrumentation, adding various keyboards and later horns, plus experimentation with longer, classically inspired song structures and much more complex production techniques. We'll get into making movies and set the stage for what followed after the break when we get back into the music of Dire Straits.
So there you go. We hope you want to find out more. If you're with a radio station that might like to carry the program, please contact us through our website for information on our free trial period and trade-out options. If you're a listener, you can help out by notifying a station in your area of the opportunity to spread the sound. You can always find upcoming schedule information, the list of broadcast times, and the series archives at intothemusic.com. We also have a Facebook fan page, and we'd love to hear how it sounds on your side of the radio. Thanks for getting into the music.